Okay, I don't want to terrify anybody out there in internet land, but Blackbeard is on the rise as a terrifying villain, ladies and gentlemen. Now, he was already terrifying before this, but let's just go over everything that Blackbeard has going for him right now, okay? Number one, he's got the status of a Yonko. Two, he's got a badass home base of operations right now. He has a literal pirate island with a giant skull mountain in the backdrop, okay? That is like straight up 1980s, cartoon villain evil, alright? That's like something you would see like Mumra living in like Thundercats. Although I guess a better reference would be like Castle Grayskull from He-Man. I was a Thundercats kid growing up. I was not really that into He-Man. Even that they did like a remake, like reboot in the early 2000s. I didn't get into it that much. He's also got an evil laugh though, and if you're gonna be an evil villain, you gotta have an evil laugh. They kind of go hand in hand. And Blackbeard's laugh is Zay ha ha ha, which has got a Z in it. Okay, and we all know that Z is one of the three coolest letters next to W and Q. Q doesn't get used very often, but when it does, you just know you're dead. What else? Oh, he's got alliteration in his crew. The 10 Titanic Captains. Alright? He kind of is more of a cartoon villain now that I think about it. He's got the giant skull base, he's got the evil laugh, and he's like, the 10 Titanic Captains! Oh, man. He's got the black beard, which was something he didn't actually have really that much before the time skip, because it took him a while to really get from, 5 o'clock shadow to a little bit of scruff, and now, though, after the time skip, he's got the beard, so, Luffy, you're kind of screwed. Like, unless you grow a beard yourself, or I guess turn into a monkey, because his name is Monkey. Unless one of those things happen, Luffy, you got no hope against him, right? But probably the most terrifying thing that Blackbeard has for himself right now is he is the user of not one, but two deadly devil fruits. One being a Logia that can literally suck anything into the darkness of his own soul and then spit it right out. And the second is probably the strongest paramecia in the entire world that could literally destroy the earth itself from the inside out with, like, earthquakes and, like, tsunamis and stuff, okay? So, yeah. Add all that together, Blackbeard's pretty damn terrifying. So today, I decided, let's try to roleplay a little bit. Let's try to roleplay Blackbeard a little bit there. Put ourselves in his shoes, okay? And let's imagine you're Blackbeard, and you're going off on this, like, reign of terror all throughout the New World. Your main goal is to get rid of Devil Fruit users and then, claim their powers for yourself and your crew. All right, now we don't know how many Devil Fruits Blackbeard himself could have inside of him. He could have more than one, which is already unusual, so he might be able to have three. He might be able to have more. We don't know. But we do know that they're targeting Devil Fruit users in the New World, killing them, taking their fruits. So we saw that with Absalom, and now Shiryu has the clear fruit. We don't know who had the Mythical Zone model Nine-Tail Fox, the Kitsune, before Katarina Devon has it, but they got rid of him or her, and now Katarina Devon does have that power. So, that is the primary goal here. So you're Blackbeard. You got the Devil Fruit Encyclopedia right in front of you that lists pretty much just all these amazing powers that are out there somewhere in the world that you could have for your crew. Who are you going to target? Who are you going to go after? So that's what the focus of this video is going to be. Let's get the easy ones right out of the way, because the point of this is not to talk about the most obvious ones, like Law's Oppi Oppi no Mi. No duh would they want Law's Oppi Oppi no Mi. Everybody wants Law's Oppi Oppi no Mi. I want Law's Oppi Oppi no Mi. Barry wants it. Alright, it's a fruit that gives you so many incredible powers. You could, disassemble people, you could heal people, you could electric shock people, you could radiation knife people, and you also can become immortal. Not immortal, but you can become, you have eternal youth given to you, which is also pretty damn nice. So obviously the Oppi Oppi no Mi. Obviously Big Mom's Soul Fruit is incredibly vaunted. Kaido's Dragon Fruit. So pretty much every mythical zone and every Logia. Like, that's like a given, alright? I don't have to go through, like, he would want Eneru's fruit. He would want Sabo's Maramara no Mi. He would want, Akainu's, Magu Magu no Mi. Like, no duh. They would want all of those. My goal was to look through the long list of paramecias and try to pick out some fruits that we haven't seen in a while, or we haven't seen the people that use them in quite some time. This would actually be a really cool way for Oda to reintroduce these fruits in the series, like the clear fruit with Absalom. Absalom was a threat during Thriller Bark, well, kind of a threat, and, after that arc, though, we hadn't really seen much of him anymore, and the Straw Hats are obviously leveled up to the point where Absalom is no longer a threat. Like, if Sanji versus Absalom happened right now, like, boom, one kick from Sanji, with or without his raid suit, Absalom's gonna be shot through a wall like freaking Wile E. Coyote. He's gonna be like, boom, boom, and then, like, knocked to the other side of the island and his neck's gonna be broken, okay? So, having that fruit is, that's a terrifying ability if used by somebody else other than Absalom. So that's what Oda did. He's like, all right, we're going to get rid of Absalom, and we're going to give his fruit to somebody else that is more terrifying, and that was, of course, Shiryu of the Rain. Now currently has that power, okay? So that was the goal of this video, but let me know below. I'm going to go through my list that I made up, but you comment below on which devil fruit do you think you would seek out if you were in Blackbeard's position. All right, so first off, I went back from the very beginning. I was looking at a lot of the devil fruits from Baroque works, and the ones we haven't seen in quite some time. So, Miss Valentine, the Kilo fruit, I'm like, all right, I mean, that's not crazy powerful. And, Mock Vices is even stronger than that, but that's not something I would, like, directly go after. Mr. 3's Doru no Mi, yeah, I guess that would be useful, but I was looking down the list, and I got to Mr. 5. Mr. 5, a character we haven't seen in quite some time. Mr. 5 had the Bomb fruit, the ability to turn any part of his body, his boogers, his spit, or like literally his flesh himself. He could like punch people and combustion would occur at the point of impact. Boom, okay? That was his power, right? And it's like, okay, well, Mr. 5 was pretty devastating with it just himself, being able to create explosions whenever. It would be interesting if the power of the fruit, like, leveled up depending on the power of the person. So, like, the faster and more powerful your punch was, the resulting explosion would be also stronger, okay? Mr. 5 also did those, like, breeze breath bullets where he took, like, a revolver and he just, like, basically breathed into the chamber, and then that fired off these little air bullets that also exploded, okay? So, there's a bunch of useful ways you can do with this, and I'm thinking, okay, if you're a really strong character, maybe if you have hockey and if you infuse that stuff together, you can bring it to a whole new extent. Like, imagine if one of the members of Blackbeard's crew had that, like Jesus Burgess had that, Jesus Burgess, and Burgess was like, ooh-wee! And then he does, like, the elbow, like, the lariat thing, and just boom! And then just this giant explosion happened, if it really is proportional to your physical strength. Or if Burgess, like, picked up a giant, like, a tree. Because Mr. 5 was, like, physically fit, it wasn't like he wasn't in shape or anything, but he wasn't, like, super, super buff and terrifying. Burgess had that fruit, and he was, like, punching and kicking people, picking up giant logs and just swinging them around. That would cause, like, giant explosions that would be very, very devastating. So, Mr. 5's explosive fruit, I definitely think the Blackbeard crew that's basically just trying to have wanton destruction everywhere they go, that would definitely be useful for them. So that was the first one. I also wrote down Mr. 2 Bon Clay's clone fruit. Now, this one, not really so much right now because they have Katarina Devon on their crew, and she has the Nine-Tailed Fox mythical zone, which, on top of allowing her to transform into a fox, also allows her to transform into anybody else. We don't exactly know the limitations with this yet. With Mr. 2's, it was like literally like a saving feature. Like, as soon as he touches somebody's face, he can memorize it, permanently, knows every single face he's touched, and can transform, between them, not just their faces, but their whole bodies, at will, whenever he so desired. So it might be something different, more limited with Katarina Devon's fruit, where maybe you have to, like, you see the person and you can transform into that person, but there might not be a save feature. You can only transform into somebody. Maybe there's a time limit, like you can only transform into this person for a set amount of time, or as long as you remember what they look like. Might be limitations to that, but they basically have that kind of ability already on their crew. It's just that, honestly, having two people that could transform into anybody you want would definitely be more useful than just having one. And Mr. 2's fruit is like, it's dedicated to that, so it probably is more efficient than Katarina Devon's, right? Foxy's fruit. Yes, that's right. Foxy might actually be useful here, because I'm thinking, okay, I don't like Foxy as a character. He's a big doofus and all that stuff. And, I'm not a huge fan of the Long Ring Longland arc, but his ability was actually pretty impressive. He literally fires off these slow photons or whatever, and anything that gets caught in that... And I'm just throwing this out there because Foxy doesn't look like, the sharpest pinhead in the bunch. I'm going to assume he did not awaken to the true powers of that fruit. I'm assuming that there's more to that fruit that you could probably do that Foxy did not figure out because he was Foxy. You give that fruit to somebody that's genuinely like a scientist kind of type, which we don't really know anybody of that, like, that's on Blackbeard's crew, but just give somebody like that that's like a decent amount of intelligence, and they might be able to come up with some crazy stuff with that ability. The ability to slow time down whenever they want it. That would be very useful. And Foxy, like, he's shown up a bunch of times in the anime, like fillers, and there was that OVA, that Adventure of Nebulandia. Like, he's popped up a bunch of times there. He showed up in Stampede, you know, but in the manga, he really hasn't popped up much at all, like, since his arc, you know. So if Oda wants to just, like, show Avado Pizarro with the slow fruit all of a sudden, be like, oh, Foxy died. Well, what are you gonna do? He has the slow fruit now. That is actually rather terrifying, just the fruit itself, and if it was upgraded to, like, affect a wider area. Like, what if you had the ability from, like, I'm now thinking of the moment in Toriko where Jiro did, like, that grand knocking and then punched the ground and, like, the entire world just... like, stopped, you know. Now, maybe not to that level, but imagine, like, an entire island. Imagine, like, somebody really strong that had that ability, like, awakened it or something and, like, hit the ground and then, like, everybody on the island, like, all the birds and everything just slowed down except for the person that did it. That would be terrifying, okay? And I don't think that that's out of the ordinary. I think that's out of the potential for that fruit, especially if it was an awakened slow fruit, all right? So, yeah. Bluino, the door fruit from CP9. Now, CP9 might very well be CP0 right now. We know Kaku, we know Lucci, we know Spondum are all part of CP0, so it, you know, hazard a guess, probably Bluino, Khalifa, Kumadori, they're all in Jabra, they're all part of CP-0 too. But still, we haven't seen Bluino ever since the cover serial. We have no idea what's up with Bluino. His fruit being able to open doors and, like, you know, physical limitations like that mean nothing to you. Blackbeard might seem a more direct kind of guy, like, I'm just gonna go in the island and burn it down or whatever, but he's definitely not against, like, spying operations. Like, you know, he has a spy operating in Wano, relaying information to him about the Straw Hats and everything that's going on with the rebellion and Kaido and everything. So obviously, like, the spy network for him is definitely, you know, he has people that do that, like Lafitte and everybody, and Katarina Devon now with her ability to transform into people and stuff. So having the ability to open up doors wherever, I mean, that would be definitely useful, and having the potential to just unlock a pocket dimension wherever you go, also incredibly useful. That would definitely go on my list if I was aiming for that. So I did a video about the Rust fruit a couple months ago, and then I started to think, wow, Shu, this really kind of, like, background character, like, he would be a completely no-name background character if it wasn't for the fact that he was the one that destroyed Zoro's Yubashiri. Like, this random guy pops out of nowhere, like, bye Yubashiri, and then he's just gone, right? He's had cameo appearances since then at, like, Marineford, and I think he was also in Stampede in, like, the background. But it's like, he has this really devastating ability when it comes to swordsmen. Like, any swordsman that goes up against Shu, they're basically screwed. Like, you question, like, could he destroy Enma with that rust fruit? Could he destroy Yoru with the rust fruit? I mean, Mihawk would probably have him diced into ham before he even got close, but, you know, could he? So that makes me think, like, wow, why would Oda give such a random background character such a powerful fruit, especially with all the powerful swordsmen we have? And Shu might be dead, ladies and gents. Shu, yeah, if Blackbeard found out, especially if imagine if Shiryu found out about Shu's ability, Shiryu would be like, oh, well, I already have the clear fruit, but we need to get that fruit on our hands, because if we got that fruit on our hands, swordsmen's, no matter how strong they were, the proper, you know, the proper anticipation for the attack and everything, we all have to do is touch their fruit and they get rusted. Or, if we got our hands on the rust fruit and then we strive to awaken that power, then oh my god, an awakened rust fruit would literally be terrifying. It would literally be, like, if we go along the same logic as, like, the awakened string fruit that turns everything into string, and then the mochi fruit that turns everything into mochi, like, you would have, like, basically Rust World, you know, like, activate rust powers, and then everything metal within, like, I don't know, a couple hundred yards would just immediately decay. You know, imagine if, like, that person went up against Zoro, and Zoro's like, it's like, rust power, awaken, oh, and then his swords, like, by that logic, the swords would just rust away. Yeah, rust fruit, you know, especially with all the very powerful swordsmen in the world, I would definitely go for that. Kill Shu, get his fruit, give it to one of the 10 Titanic captains. Or at the very least, keep it locked up so no, it can't be used against you, essentially. Jozu's Kira no Mi. That was something that a lot of people thought that Shiryu was going to strive for. He was going to get the diamond fruit that was going to allow him to make, like, diamond swords and diamond bodies, and Zoro, that whole thing with Mr. One, like, Mr. One's last words to Zoro was like, oh, are you gonna try to cut diamond now that you cut steel? And Zoro's like, that would be a waste of my time to try to do something like that. Well, a lot of people thought, Shiryu was going to get it. Now, he didn't. He got the clear fruit, but that doesn't mean that Josu's fruit still might not make a reappearance. Also, keep in mind, Josu lost his arm during Marineford, so he might not be in top fighting shape anymore. So it might make sense for, like, okay, Oda's like, well, I can't really do much with Josu because he already lost an arm and he's really wounded. He might have gotten wounded more during the Payback War. Josu might be a wreck right now, for all we know. So I'm going to take his fruit and give it to somebody else so the fruit's power can live on. And also the fact this was a fruit that blocked Mihawk's, like, strongest slash in the world. Very, very impressive fruit. Like, the ultimate in defense, essentially, right? Probably like second only to the Bari Bari no Mi. That was something else I put on here. I also think that should have been pretty obvious that the barrier fruit would be something they want. That's a fruit that's so good, Oda used it twice in the series with Semimaru and also Bartolomeo. But yeah, Bartolomeo is like the ultimate defense fruit, but the Kira Kira no Mi, which, by the way, in case you're thinking of, like, because every time I say that fruit name, I can't help but think of Death Note. Kira Kira no Mi, Laita Yagami. But no, it's that's the onomatopoeia for sparkle. Like, sparkle, sparkle, like gems sparkling. That's Kira, Kira in Japanese. That's just how it goes. So yeah, Light was Kira, and he was also sparkling, dashing. But yeah, definitely a fruit I could see being utilized, maybe by Vasco Shot or somebody else. I really wanted to bring up the Mr. Five's Bomb fruit, but in the possession of San Juan Wolf. Like, a giant that, like, whoa, nuke. But, unfortunately, it was already confirmed that San Juan Wolf already has a devil fruit. He is actually a normal giant that has some sort of, like, magnification fruit that allows him to, like, increase his size several times over. So that's the point of that. But can you imagine, like, if San Juan Wolf had the bomb fruit? Like, he just steps on an island and the island just is gone, immediately. Magellan's Doku Doku no Mi, the Venom fruit, poison fruit. I also don't think I need to go into great detail on why they would want that. Being able to poison, like Magellan was a professional. He was a warden of Impel Down. He was very careful with how he used his fruit, unless the prisoners really pissed him off or unless a mass breakout was going to occur. But imagine if somebody had that fruit that was like Blackbeard or had evil intentions. You would literally just roll up to an island and then Venom Demon the shit out of it, and just you don't even have to get close to the island. You could just, like, park on the shore of the island and then just breathe poisonous chlorine gas all over the island, and then just everybody just gets suffocated. There you go, right? So Magellan's definitely. We know there's an assassin heading to go apparently take out Doflamingo. We don't know who the assassin's allegiances are, if they're a member of CP0 or something else. We assume CP0, but hey, who knows? I mean, Blackbeard's broken in Impel Down before, so what would stop him from doing it again, right? So yeah, getting Magellan's and also getting the Ito Nimi from Doflamingo, but that would require another trip into Impel Down, but it would definitely be on the list. Shiki. The ability to fly. I mean, yeah, there's a lot of fruits that give you the ability to fly. There's bird fruits, like there's Morgan's fruit, there's Pell's fruit, but those are just birds, They give you like the mythical zone, they like Marco's Phoenix fruit. That's pretty cool. That allows you to fly and that also allows you to heal, so they would of course want that. But Shiki's fruit is just kind of the best of all of that. And like, you have like Buffalo's like propeller fruit, like his whirl fruit. But if you want the best of flight fruits, you would go with the Fuwa no Mi, Shiki's fruit, allowing the person that has it to just straight up fly like Superman, but also allows you to make anything else float. And we saw in the movie Strong World how absolutely crippling to an organization that fruit could be. Like, you can literally just walk up to Marineford and lift all the battleships up. They're not really much use when they're floating like 400 feet above the water, right? So, yeah, the flight fruit, that would definitely be something. So now moving on to Dressrosa fruits. I was going through some of the ones from like the Doflamingo family and everything. By the way, all of these people are apparently, like, locked up in Impel Down right now. Like, we can assume. Like, except for Viola, who is at Reverie, went to Reverie with Rebecca and her dad, and then they came back, so they're apparently at Dressrosa right now, or at least on their way back to Dressrosa. Aside from Viola and Baby 5, that's a member of the Kano Kingdom right now, like, everybody else, like Machvice and Lao Ji and Gladys, they're all apparently locked up in Impel Down with Doflamingo, I would guess. But Sugar, the Hobby no Mi. Now, I know we had a whole arc basically around that, but we're not talking about, like, you know, in terms of themes of a story. Like, well, we just did a whole arc with the Hobby Hobby no Mi. We're not going to go back to that again. I don't think Oda's going to go back to that again. I'm just saying from like a, not a meta perspective, but from like the character perspective, if Blackbeard learned about the Hobby Hobby no Mi, a fruit that allowed you to turn anybody into toys, and manipulate their memories and everything like that, and make them your servants, and also give you eternal youth, or, you know, lock you into whatever age you were, I think you would definitely want to be going after that. I think you would definitely be interested in that, okay? Going along with sugar, we also have Viola's Glare fruit, the clairvoyance fruit. Allows you to see into your target's mind and see what they're thinking. You get to see, you know, what they're hiding, if they're hiding anything on their actual physical bodies. You get to see from super far away. So Van Augur having that fruit would actually be incredibly, you know, augment his sniping skills, you know, having the Glare fruit. So Viola, you might want to watch out a bit there. Mansherry's Heal fruit, once again, self-explanatory, the fruit that allows you to heal pretty much any wound. Why would you not want that? Of course, any organization would want that for their own devices, just like Doflamingo wanted that for his crew. Heal fruit would be very, very useful. Maybe you could figure out some way to augment that to just not tears. Maybe someone else could eat the Heal. That would mean Mansherry would have to die, and she's too cute. She can't die. I mean, that would be the turn of like, holy crap, One Piece got dark as hell this week. Mansherry died. Like, whoa, Oda, ease off the gas pedal a little bit there. Damn. But, yeah, it would be a very useful fruit. They'd use, like, I don't know, like, I'm gonna turn my, it turns out it doesn't have to be your tears. It can also be your spit. I don't know, but yeah. Senor Pink. He's an incredibly hard-boiled warrior, but he also has the ability to swim into any surface. Pretty useful for attacking your opponent from a bunch of different angles. Like, I could see Burgess having that fruit and just doing, like, you know, luchador, Mexican wrestler moves, you know, like, you know, jumping into a building and climbing all the way up and then, like, ha, boom, you know, stuff like that. That'd be pretty cool. Cracker's cracker fruit, the biscuit fruit, okay, the biscuit fruit, yes. Paketo no nakane wa biscuito ga hitotsu. So, but the cracker fruit, I mean, it gives you the ability to create an infinite army, essentially a nigh infinite army of cracker soldiers that are indestructible, except when it's raining out, but otherwise they're pretty damn tough to break through. Even Luffy in Gear 4th. Luffy in Gear 4th was able to break through one, but that was a lot of, like, power behind that. Luffy just using his regular Haki or his Red Hawk couldn't really bust through the regular cracker soldiers until he went Gear 4th, okay? So that's incredibly tough. They can have swords, they can have shields, you can make an entire army. So yeah, from what we know, Cracker, after he was defeated by Luffy, he's still on Tautland healing, I guess. Might still be in bed, and, you know, if Blackbeard decides to attack that island while Big Mom is away, and also going along with that, I guess, the mochi, okay, something interesting you have to know about a lot of these fruits is that, yeah, we saw them as being very impressive, but a lot of these fruits, it's like you have to train with them for a very, very long time. Like look at Luffy's fruit. Luffy's Gamu Gamu no Mi. It's no doubt that what he can do with it is incredibly powerful and diverse. You know, he could do Gear 4th and all the different forms, and Gear 2nd and Gear 3rd, and combine it with his Haki. Luffy is incredibly versatile with his fruit, because he's had it for like 12 years. He's trained with it constantly, okay? If you just took out Luffy and grabbed his fruit and gave it to somebody else, they're not going to be able to use Gear 4th right out of the gate, right? That's the case with a lot of these fruits, but I'm saying, like, yeah, you would probably want Luffy's fruit just because of all the stuff you could see, like the potential you could see with it. It would take a lot of training, but you know it's definitely there. Katakuri's Mochi fruit would also be very powerful, but you'd have to train with it, you know, because Katakuri's had it for like 40-something years. He's had it since he was like 5, you know, and he's like 48 now, so he's trained with it for a very, very long time. So, yeah, they would want those fruits, especially since they couldn't be used against them, but it would take a very long time to get to the point where, like, Luffy's at with his, or Katakuri's at with his, you know, so just to bring that up. But Cracker's fruit, very impressive. Okay. I wrote down Tama's, just because, like, the same way why Kaido would want that. Like, you'd be able to control any animal no matter how ravenous or crazy. There could be a giant beast, like a Sea King. Like, if you feed the Kibi Dango to a Sea King, the Sea King would listen to you, wouldn't it? So, yeah, you'd have, like, an army of Sea Kings at your disposal. Like Shirahoshi. So yeah, you would definitely want Otama's. Bartolomeo's Barrier, already mentioned that. And let's end this out. I know I said, like, all Logias are included in this list and all mythical zones, and ancient zones as well. If Blackbeard ran across a mythical zone or an ancient zone or a Logia, regardless of what it is, he would probably take it, because they're just by the fact that they are so damn rare, you know? So it's like, the mythical, the mythical Tanuki zone. You could turn into a Tanuki. All right. Sure. There actually is, by the way, 2 Tanuki fruits in One Piece. There's a normal Tanuki fruit that's just like an actual Tanuki that really exists, and that's in Tama's house and Tenguyama's house, you know. And then there's the mythical variant that was in the video game with Patrick Redfield, the vampire, and there was a pen that he had that ate that fruit and became a mythical Tanuki, like that can actually transform into things, right? So yeah, like any mythical zone, any Logia, like if they found a dinosaur, if he found the T-Rex zone, Blackbeard would take the T-Rex zone, right? But I did write down Caesar Clown's gas fruit, just because Caesar, he left, he's no longer in the story right now, and after all of that horrible, like, disaster that Caesar had to go through, like getting his heart stolen and everything, people pushing him around, I mean, for good reason. I mean, the dude experimented on children constantly. But after all of that, just when Caesar thinks he's gonna get away, and he's like, that's it, I'm out of here, man. I'm done with you Supernovas, I'm done with you Straw Hats, I'm done with you Yonko. I am getting the hell out of here. I'm going to the South Blue, and I'm just gonna chill out on a nice tropical island the rest of my life. I am not screwing with any of this Grand Line nonsense. And then he runs into Blackbeard's crew, and they cap him off, and they have the power of the gas fruit now, which is, once again, going along with the same logic of the Doku Doku no Mi, the poison fruit Magellan had, even just on a wider scale. Like, you could fuse with other, you know, gases and stuff, and you could just roll up to an island and just, you know, poisonous gas everywhere. It'd be devastating, right? So, every Logia would be included here, even like Caribou's Numa no Mi. That'd be very useful to store a bunch of stuff in your swamp body. But when it comes down to it, Caesar is kind of fresh in our minds, but he's gone from the story for right now. So, I don't know if Oda's just going to do that. Like, yeah, Caesar, he was a goof, wasn't he? Well, he's dead now. And his fruit is now in the hands of freaking Vasco Shot or Vala Pizarro or somebody right now. Yeah, that would be rather terrifying. All right, well, anyway, that's the list I have for you right now. Of course, there's a lot more devil fruits out there, but I wanted to leave some breathing room here to let you guys let me know which devil fruits you would think that Blackbeard would directly go after there. Once again, I kept it mostly to Paramecia, but hey, if you think there's like, okay, yeah, obviously he would want all the Logias, but there's one Logia he would definitely want, and that would be the Magu no Mi. I'm like, well, yeah, I would give it to you. It also boasts like one of the strongest destructive capabilities in the entire story, but let me know below what you think. So yeah, this will be Tekking101 signing out. Thanks for watching, everybody. Later.